Greetings, 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 and joining us today on behalf of our amazing Chicago Public School students and HBCU Health Wellness 101 students from Howard University, Hampton University, Morgan State University, and I'm repping my students on behalf the illustrious Clark Atlanta University.
Oh,
We have royalty in the building today. This young lady is the pride and joy of New Jersey and the most brilliant scholar in the University of Georgia's proud, iconic, illustrious 240-year legacy, master's degree in social work. She is a Shero role model, humanitarian, boss lady business entrepreneur, mentor, educator, healer, therapist, a strong voice concerning human and sex trafficking prevention, her tireless work in the DFCS system, the Georgia Division of Family and Children's Services. She is the real life version of Wonder Woman. She is the one and only, the incomparable Samantha Lee.
I love that. I like that intro. That's a great intro. Thank you. Great job, Stan. I like that. You can introduce me everywhere. I like that. Okay.
Just give me
All
a
right.
call. Just give me a call. I got you. I got
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
you.
I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to help you with whatever. I'm an open book, lady. So whatever, wherever. Let's get into it.
So I will pass the microphone with the first few questions on behalf of our HBCU community. The Martin sisters at the helm of the iconic girls empowerment organization, Beauty and Brains organization here in the city of Chicago with the first few questions. Miss Martin, are you there? Hold on one second. Give me
Hey
one.
Stanley and hi Samantha. Nice to
Hey,
meet
hey.
Nice to meet you as well.
you. Yes, give me 2 seconds here. Um, but yes, okay. So I have wrote down some questions for you. And so my first question was, have you ever been to Chicago? Because you just have such a large fan base here. Wonder if you've ever been to the city.
I have family in Chicago, so I have been to Chicago. I actually went last year to Chicago, so yes, I do. I
Okay.
didn't even know I had. I mean, I don't look at my analytics like I should, but yes, I have been to Chicago.
Okay, so do you love Chicago?
I love Chicago. I do love Chicago. I haven't spent as much time as I need to spend in Chicago. Let me just say that.
Okay, yes. Well, when you come back, just hit us up. We got you. So yes.
Oh yeah, okay, I'm coming for sure now.
Yeah. All right. So you're also considered a hero and a role model to so many young ladies. What advice do you have for those that aspire to be the next version of you?
One thing I will always say to young women, never lose sight, like don't allow what everybody tells you to do or who you should be to define your course. I spent a lot of my time when I was growing up doing what everybody wanted me to do. My mom, it was the right thing to do. Graduate from high school, go to college, go to grad school, do it this way. And I feel like I got lost in a role that was never meant to be mine. And I
Mhm.
had to redefine that later on in my life because that's not who God created me to be. I'm meant to be a voice. I'm meant to be much bigger than the box they try to put me in. And so don't allow nobody to put you in a box. I did
Yeah.
that for too long and I lost my voice in the process. Don't lose yourself in what everybody wants you to be. Don't do that.
Yes. No, I love that so much. That's literally what we preach through Beauty and Brains as Stanley introduced our organization. It's all about being your authentic self, being
Yes.
confident and finding your purpose and your unique lane and walking confidently in that. And so that's what we try to instill in women. I've gone through that similar journey myself, going to medical school, grad school, and then realizing like that wasn't the path for me. This wasn't what I was supposed to do. So I hear you. We all hear you. And your story is relatable to so many other Black women and just women in general who are going through the same things.
I love that.
Yes. And so, my next question is, what has been your biggest lesson learned or biggest challenge you faced as a health wellness advocate and healer?
I think the biggest challenge I've faced um, in what I do really is it's a number of things. I would say the biggest challenge, if I'm gonna be honest, um, I walked through a divorce publicly, and me walking through a divorce publicly was a it's hard because I'm speaking about relationships, but elephant in the room, you also walking through a divorce,
Mm,
right? So I think it was very hard for me to walk through that without maintaining integrity, still covering my situation, even though it wasn't covering me, still
mhm.
trying to walk the path that God had called me to be, even though I'm from New Jersey. So I have energy of like, I'll meet you right where you're at. Look, I'm right there with you. You want to go there? I'll go there with you. And God had called me in that season to really honor what he had called me to do was not seek revenge, not seek vengeance, and continue on the path no matter what anybody said about me. So it was
Mhm.
the first time in my life, you go on thumbnails and you see your image and it's misrepresenting you and you feel like you're not supposed to say anything. That was the hardest part of it, is understanding that when you have a platform, a lot of people are so afraid of being canceled. And
Mm,
I
yep.
believe that if God established you, can't nobody cancel you,
Amen.
right? So I think a lot of they're tiptoeing. I don't want to say this. What if they think this? What if they think that? I got over that a long time ago because I was being canceled for something I didn't even do. So
Mhm.
I'm like, well, if I can be canceled for malarkey, I might as well just say what I want to say unapologetically. When
Mhm.
you get that off of your head and understand that whatever God has given you a platform to do, wherever you are in life, don't be afraid of people and their perspectives. Stay true to yourself, stay true to your God, stay true to your purpose. Everything else falls in line. The same people that honored God on a Sunday, did Palm Sunday, they're worshiping him,
Mhm.
crucified him on Friday.
Okay. Yes.
So people's opinions change. You
Exactly.
don't dance to the opinions of people.
Exactly. That's why you got to learn how to tap in, listen to your soul, what God is
Yes.
calling you to specifically. And
Yes.
like you said, a lot of people are afraid to stand for something. And so I love
Yes.
that you're using your platform and using your voice. And I hope that more people can feel inspired by that and feel like, hey, I was put in this position. Let me actually use it instead of being scared that people gave me this position. People didn't position you, God positioned.
100%.
So love
Yes.
that. Love all your answers. My last question that I have for you here is, what advice can you give to anyone balancing running their own organization while maintaining healthy relationships and family obligations?
Uh, I don't even know if I do that well now. To be honest with you, I think I had to come to a place, and I still pray about it as well. You have to learn balance. I I'm very big in the health and wellness, so I make sure I take care of my body. I think all women should prioritize taking care of themselves, take care of your body, always look good. That's like a rule. I
Mhm.
don't care what you're going through, you look good. But I think just I prioritize that. The first thing I do every morning is I drop my daughter off to school. I'm going to work out. I don't care where it is. I don't care what it is. I'm working out. I'm not going to take calls or anything until after that time. That's
Mhm.
my time for me. There's just certain things that I'm not going to skip out on. I'm going to get my nails done. I'm going to get my hair done. I'm going to make sure I take care of myself in the gym. I'm going to make sure I eat the right foods. There's just certain things that with everything you have, with more and more that you have that God gives you, it's imperative to have balance. It's imperative to schedule things, to write a to-do list. I don't care if the to-do list says fold your bed. You cross
Yeah,
it off the list. It does something for you to see you
absolutely.
accomplishing things throughout the day.
Absolutely.
Balance, hustle mentality never came from God. Trusting God, Jesus never ran anywhere. He
Mhm.
walked everywhere.
Okay.
Even when he felt like there was a Lazarus was dying, he still took his time. It took 4 more days to get there.
Mm.
God was never in a rush. God is never in a rush. And if we are abiding in the spirit, know that every time you're late, or if you're trying your best and you're still late, it's intentional. Know that everything that you do is intentional. Don't try to, that hustle mentality is world. It's not kingdom.
Yes, amen. No, you're preaching a word today. I love all of this so much. And so would love to connect with you after this if possible. But
Sure.
um that was all of my questions. So, so nice meeting you. And
Yes.
really, Beauty and Brains, I really want to connect with you. So just
Yes.
keep in mind, Janet Martin, I'm definitely gonna reach out.
Yes, please. Please do. I would love to. I love this.
Yes, no, for sure.
Um, Thanks, Ms. Martin. I will pass the microphone to Mariah Webster, recent HBCU Howard University graduate. Go, Lady Bison.
Yay. Yeah. I love it.
Oh, it's so nice to meet you, Samantha.
Nice to meet you as well.
Yeah, Janet already said it. You've been given a word, and I really need to talk to you about feeling like you were in a box and finding your passion. Like, how did you know health and wellness was for you?
I believe with any purpose you find, you think about the one thing you do that if no one was paying you, you still do it.
Mm,
That's how I found purpose. I remember one of the first places I ever worked when I was in I was still getting my bachelor's. I worked at a place called Project Safe. It was a domestic violence shelter. We also did like sex trafficking victims as well. We housed both because at the time in Atlanta it was like starting to get bigger and we were getting more awareness about it. Well, in that time, I realized when I would do overnights at the shelter and I would go to school the next day because I didn't have a place I was staying. I was living out of my 99 Honda. And so I was like sleeping at night at the school or at the shelter, whatever. And then I would go to class every morning. And when I would be at the shelter, I felt like home. And I realized that there was only one decision that stopped me from being in the same position as these women. And so it was like I felt uncomfortable. I felt so comfortable in an environment I shouldn't have felt comfortable in. And I knew that even if they weren't paying me, I would still be here with these women. I would still be advocating. I would still want to do the crisis intervention work I was doing. I think that that's what you have to focus on. If I don't get paid a dollar, what am I naturally gravitating to that interests me? Because I have a friend right now. She's interested in one thing. I'm like, that is God calling you. And you can't, I didn't realize that back then. Like, why did I want at 17 years old to be volunteering at domestic violence shelter? Why couldn't I wait till I was 18 or 21 to be in the shelter or working with women and trafficking or any of those things? Like, why was I like that? And I found out later on in my life, it was because I was called to it. So don't ignore that prompting in your spirit, that dream that never dies, that desire you can't stifle. Don't ignore that because there's something about it that God is speaking through you. That's your purpose. That's your impact. That's what you were created to do.
I appreciate that so much because I'm kind of like integrating away from managerial spaces in healthcare, and now
Mm.
I'm a youth policy advocate, which really
Mm.
aligns with like my passion. I've always wanted to be there for the youth, but a lot of them deal with domestic abuse, sexual abuse. Do you have any advice on like how to connect with children with that?
Strengths-based perspective. You always want to go with, there's a thing called motivational interviewing, and that's a big skill. You could take like a quick course on motivational interviewing, but um always go with strengths. When you're dealing with youth, especially a very sensitive population, they don't, especially if they've been abused or they've been mishandled in any way, shape, or form, the one thing that they don't recognize about themselves is their strengths. They don't see their strengths. They hear the voice is very, very loud in their mind. Trauma speaking, always speaking. And so when you're dealing with anybody with trauma, you always want to go with what they call the type of interviewing is called motivational interviewing, but you always want to start talking about their strengths. You want them to identify their strengths. You want to be able to, if they say something about, you could be talking, I don't know how with youth policy exactly how that goes, because I've been on the policy side, like advocating, where I was crazy. I'm not crazy, but I'm like passion loud. So I went to Capitol Hill to pass bills. I mean, that's what I did, when I was 21 years old, just knocking on the doors of the Capitol building in Atlanta and saying, this bill needs to be passed and this is why. And I was so nervous, I remember. But both sides of it, understanding that, especially with youth, they don't get, a lot of times they're told, even youth that are normal, like they come from a fairly normal background, they're not told enough or acknowledged enough their strengths. You might even feel that way. We might even feel that way. We're raised in a home where it's never enough. We're never good enough. I get 4 A's and 1 B, it's never good enough. If I don't make enough money, it's never good enough. I never look good enough. I'm always being measured up by something. And it's always good to find somebody that you can talk to that finds the strength, the positive, the silver lining. That's something that they may not be able to see in their lives. And so I think it's really important to do that with youth.
Absolutely. And like you were kind of talking about strengths earlier, like just as women, we always try to make sure that we don't look like what we're going through. We keep everything together. What are some of your like non-negotiables that like health and wellness, I have to prioritize this?
Fitness. I
Fitness.
think people do not, women like Black and brown women, I'm a mixed woman. And I have both sides that speak to me all the time. There's a side that want to get thicker than a Snicker, and I'm in Atlanta, so that's okay, right? But there's another side of me that whatever. And I don't think as women we prioritize enough. Yes, get our hair done. Yes, get your nails done. You'll never see me my hair not done. You'll never see me my nails not done. You'll never. I believe in looking good and feeling good about yourself 100%. You don't ever slip. I don't care if I'm going through a breakup. I don't care if I've been crying all night. I'm gonna look better the next day. You gonna miss me. Oh, I'm gonna make you sick how good I'm gonna look. But that's the mentality that I feel like a lot of women, they just wear their experiences on them, or if they're tired, or if they've been studying all night, or whatever that is. No, you prioritize. I don't care if you got to walk 30 minutes a day. I don't care what you do. Prioritize fitness. That's something in our community that I'm really, really passionate about, because it's more like we want to go on a table, get liposuction and tummy tucks and BBLs. I meet kids in high school that's saving up for their first plastic surgery, versus really all they got to do is, you've got to put the work in. So I think fitness is like a big thing for me. Like, take care of yourself physically so that you feel good about yourself when you're wearing clothes, and you feel good when you're walking down the street and somebody, they looking at you because your body doing what it need to be doing. Okay. So fitness, like I long with it, but fitness for sure.
Yeah, I was just at like a biohacking conference. It's kind of new, and they were talking about this meditation and
Mm.
vibration plate. Like you're supposed to stand on it, and it works you out. Like if you stand on it for 10 minutes, it works you out for
Oh,
like an hour. And I don't know
really?
how I feel about that. I'm like a nature girl, so I go on
Oh,
hikes a lot. So yeah.
I'm definitely nature. I feel like I hear God in nature. Like I don't even wear headphones. I like listen. Like I feel like I hear. I pray. That's like my prayer walks. I do like 5 or 6 miles. I'm just praying, and it's like it's such a therapeutic thing to be at one with nature. Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, so we might have to talk more like about affirmations and prayer life,
Oh
for
yeah.
sure. And dang, I'm blanking on my last question. It was about how do you stay motivated, like with your platform on social media, and of course it's always going to be like haters and negativity. How do you get around that?
Oh Jesus. That's a good question. I, you know what I'll say. I've had really good mentors in the space that saw something in me when I didn't see something in myself. And
Sure.
they would always, I felt like it was just like I was never going to surrender. Like I'm a fighter, and I'm gonna keep fighting and swinging until I literally cannot. Like you're not gonna stop me. No one's gonna stop me. Only God can sit me down. So my thought process was always like, I don't care what y'all saying about me. I'm still gonna show up. I'm still gonna post. And what? I'm still gonna do it. And what? What you gonna do? Like I was always like That might be the Jersey in me. That might just be like just who I am by nature, but I'm a fighter. Like I might be crying before I go on the live. I don't care what it is. I might cry after the live, but you're not going to stop me from showing up. One of the biggest things I could say to anybody that's trying to build a platform, you have to be consistent. And a lot of times people, because their schedules go up and down, because of whatever they're dealing with personally, they allow it to impact their ability to show up consistently. When you're building a platform, I built YouTube. I'm on my second one on YouTube, but Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. When you're building those types of platforms, you have to make friends with the algorithm. That's the only way the algorithm pushes your content out. TikTok's a little bit more liberal, but they're even getting strict. And you've got to make friends with that algorithm. And the only way to make friends with the algorithm is to show up consistently. That's the only okay, I trust this content creator to keep pushing out content. So I'm going to continue to do it because all they want is consistent content to keep people on their algorithm. So when people are like, I post on Monday, I don't post on Wednesday, I'm really consistent for 3 months, but then I stop. 3 months is that sweet spot. If you can post consistently once a week, twice a week, you keep that going for 3 months, a lot of times you'll see your content go viral. That's when I started seeing my content go nuts on different platforms, was when the algorithm could trust that I was going to keep pushing content. So whether it's a relationship with a human being or whether it's a relationship with an algorithm, consistency is key. And that's why you cannot allow any outside noise, even if it hurts you, to stop you from showing up. I don't care what they're saying about you.
Samantha, thank you so much. Like, thank you. That was everything. Mic drop.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Ryan. I like that. Great.
I'm going to sneak in the last couple of questions from another
Sure.
Howard University grad, Miss Black USA 2021 and 20,
Ooh, okay.
and boss lady attorney,
Yeah.
Dr. Jamila Emma Toussaint will close us out with the last couple of questions.
Okay, perfect.
Hi. Yes, I wanted to sneak in a couple questions. So I am familiar with your brand, and I know that you have your master's in social work.
Yes.
My question is, as a professional, how do you protect your brand on the professional side as well as the information that you're putting out on social media? Like, how do you balance that? Because I know some people can perceive it as, oh, well, you're a lawyer, so why are you posting all this content? How do you deal with that kind of stuff?
To be honest with you, in the beginning, it was a challenge. My job actually, because I'm a LCSW, I'm a licensed clinical social worker now. But when I started, when I first got my master's, a lot of my job was trying to prevent me from posting. They called it a conflict of interest or a double, whatever it was. And I kind of got to a place where at the time, I ended up getting married. So I ended up having to leave my position anyway. But when I came back to that position, because they offered it to me again, I said, like, this is my purpose. Like, if you're going to hire me and my skill set, but of course I could talk a little greasy because I done been there. You know what I can do. So at that point, I could say, listen, I'll show up. I'll be here for the job, but my platform is for me. That's that's my purpose. And I think over time, to be honest with you, I had to start really understanding what I was created to do versus what I was paid to do. And I could never let what I was paid to do negate what I was created to do. I had to know that ultimately I could be working in what I make money for, but I don't feel fulfilled. Yes, I'm here, I'm doing whatever, but this is not what God created me to do. And I've learned over time, when you allow your job to negate your purpose, you don't feel fulfillment. And so I don't allow that to stop me anymore. That's something, those are conversations I have openly, and I will talk to my job or the firm or whatever the case out, the nonprofits I work for. And I'll be like, listen, this is what I feel like I'm created to do. So what do I need to write in the bio to protect you, to say that this is not representative of your opinions and this, that, and the third. I started doing that. Well, funny thing is, a year or two in, they started asking me for help to push their products or to push their nonprofits. They wanted me to go represent them at these talks and different things like that, because the people that were at these conventions knew who I was. So it was like, at first, I had to hit that wall and I had to know what my purpose was. Once I realized my purpose was for me to continue to do what I was doing, I made it a non-negotiable. I asked them to tell me how to do it. And then they needed that. The one thing they wanted me to stop doing was the one thing they needed. It was an asset later on. So don't allow either one. I would just have an open conversation about, what do I need to write? If I'm working for this firm, what do I need to write in the bio to protect you guys? If this is not representative, this is your opinions. But I think you being a lawyer or having a degree, that we don't have educated content creators. You know that, right? A lot of the reason why I got hot as quickly as I did was that I was actually a therapist. I actually had a degree. I actually was a clinician. I was actually working as one. Most people come on and they're presenting as therapists, but they don't have a degree. So whatever positions and opinions you have, your degree solidifies you. So I could be, 2 or 3 years in, before anybody knew anything, I was in the governor's mansion in Atlanta trying to dictate policy on what to do with sex trafficking victims. But they would never know me if I stayed in the daggone box they wanted me to stay in. The only way that the governor's wife would know to approach me about policy was because of my voice, and my voice had to be heard. So again, I want you to always know, what are you created for versus what you're getting paid to do, and don't let one negate the other. Even if there's ways you got to dance around the policies that you work for, you stay connected to purpose. That's what matters in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And I chuckled a little bit when you were speaking, because my job I model. And so whenever they do like video content, stuff like that, they're always asking me, oh, can you be
on the camera? Of course. I get it all. Yes, of course.
Yeah. So my last question, if I have time,
sure.
And apologies if you've already spoken to this, but I'm curious, what was that transition like from social work to becoming an entrepreneur?
So I do both. But I'll tell you what. I'll give you a short, long story because I'm long-winded. I have to tell the story. So it was actually, I went through a divorce. And when I went through that divorce, I remember I was like waiting on people to do right by me. That's really what it was. I'm like, woe is me. I did all this for other people, blah, blah, blah. Where's my people at? Blah, blah, blah. And I remember God speaking to me, because I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. I never wanted to own my own business. I never wanted to have my own schedule. I wanted to work for somebody because that's easier. You clock in, clock out, it's over. And I remember God saying to me specifically, I can't do anything until you move. And so when I heard that prompting, I did everything that came to mind. Started a fitness company, started a women's group called Power Up. I started doing my Miracle Mondays. I was doing a show called I Was Her online. I did everything that came to mind. What ended up coming from that was that God allowed certain things to stick on the wall. Some things come off. The problem with entrepreneurship that I find is that it never goes to sleep. It never ends. Like when you're building a business, you're building a brand, you're building a platform, it's tireless. A lot of people, especially in the YouTube space, they don't have no boundaries. They don't have set time limits. They are tirelessly working, which is why you see a lot of them struggle with drug addiction, because they got to stay up. You've got to be innovative. So I will say, with everything, if you have a job, build your entrepreneurship along the way. That's what I did. I kind of kept it going. I think I'm now taking the leap out of working a 9 to 5 or a set job and just walking straight into content creation space. But just always know, like with entrepreneurship, there has to be boundaries with both. You have to learn entrepreneurship is a different world. It's a tireless grind. You're going to have to give a lot, but you get a lot. So every good thing, every great thing takes a great risk, takes a leap of faith. And so you sometimes have to step out of what everybody thinks you should do and do what you feel called to do, regardless of what they think about it. And if you take a risk, you take a risk, you can get back up. But you just know that if you're taking a risk on you and you're betting on you, you're going to learn a lot, you're going to grow a lot. And just like myself, I'm on this call with you guys for, 3 or 4 years later, that people have me speaking to their women's groups about how I built it. People will question you in the beginning, but then they start asking for your rubric. So just know that, like, it takes a risk to get a reward.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Thank you so, so much. Everything you touched on is just so relevant. The timing could not be better. So I really appreciate you speaking to us today.
Oh, thank you guys,
And,
man. I love
and
this. This is fun.
in the last 45 seconds before the Zoom shot clock runs out, do you share with your legions of fans in Chicago and the young ladies and our HBCU community along the Southeast region, if they wanted to reach out, where can they go on their on all of your various platforms?
Sure. So I have Love Samantha Lee on all platforms: YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. I now have developed a podcast called the More Than Just Pretty Podcast, where I openly share my journey with God unapologetically. And so I have the video version. I created a sister channel in this time, the More Than Just Pretty YouTube channel. And then I also have audio streaming platforms for the More Than Just Pretty podcast. If you want to reach out to me directly, it's best not to go to the DMs. Hit me on teamlovesamanthalee@gmail.com. I will get those emails.
I'll definitely give Miss Martin your information from
Please
Beauty and
do.
Brains.
Please do. I love things like this. Listen, I'll speak at a conference to a bunch of women. I